Ladies and gentlemen, we are live right here in Nairobi, Kenya. We are 5 minutes to the top of the hour, but I see that quite a good number of you people have logged in, and you are saying you are too excited for tonight, that you can't just wait. So let me welcome some of you that are already logged in. And don't forget to send the links to as many as possible. Send the links to your friends, share it. This is a privilege that we have tonight. We don't know when this kind of privilege and opportunity will pass our way again. So it's very important that we make the best out of it right now. This is 4 minutes to the top of the hour, 8 p.m. East African time. So wherever you are, whether it's your morning or afternoon, we want to say welcome to this, our great show. Let me begin with welcoming you, Dr. Anne Wangombe. You are saying, good evening, Mama. Kingdom billionaires already seated waiting for takeoff. I love that. Kingdom billionaires, you're welcome. Centrine Nekoya is saying, Centrine is saying, good evening, Mommy. In Jesus' name, billionaire Centrine Nafula already here to get nuggets and wisdom galore. Yeah, you are welcome, galore. You are welcome, Centrine. God bless you. Indeed, we are all kingdom billionaires. Ozioma is saying, good evening, Norma. Good evening, sir. I'm glad to have you speak to us tonight. Eagerly waiting. You're welcome. Christine Nekono. Good evening, Mommy. Good evening, sir. Ready to tap into the wisdom. You're welcome. Abigail, good evening, Mama and our guest. Rosemary, good evening in Jesus' name. Lillian Chumba, good evening, Mommy. And Dr. Manu, excited to be here. Lillian Kipsang, I'm anxiously waiting. Today will be all the business tycoons. You are welcome. Grace Wenda is already here. Let me go back a bit. You are all signing in so quickly. So we have a good number of you signing in at the same time. So I'm losing some of you. Susan Kinyuan is saying, good evening, Mommy. Good evening also. Pastor Mrs. Langard, good evening. My CF in Jesus' name, good evening. Grace Wendera, good evening, Mommy and our guests. Excited to be here. Good evening. Susan Kinyua, good evening, Mommy. Dollis Amiono, good evening, Mommy. Anne Salituni, Niva Chemutai, good evening, Mommy. Perez Agola, good evening, Mommy. Becky Okelo, good evening, Mommy. Deacon Felix, Shalom, Mommy, in Jesus' name, and tune in. Mr. William Apida, tuned in. Christine Nekoni, Caroline Badia, hello, Mommy, good evening, looking beautiful, thank you. North Wind, South Wind, Deacon Erastus, Penina Mbata, Catherine, Eric, Pauline, Minister Ivy, Lillian Agina, Saline, Sherry, Julia. All right, Professor Roslyn Okech, good evening, Mommy. Roslyn, I saw your text. I've not been able to answer. You know, today is Sunday. Sometimes on Sundays, my head is not on phone. But thank you for worshiping with RCCG Romania. I will answer you. You are currently in Romania, and I'm glad you worship with our church in Romania. RCCG is all over the world. That makes it a very global church. Anywhere you are in the world, you can get a branch to enter. All right. Because we have a very powerful guest who is not our age mate or colleagues, I will not be greeting you and keep him just waiting. I hope you understand. In our culture, I can't keep him sitting and I'm just busy talking to everybody. So I need to give him that respect and honor. Alice Kaluba say good evening from UK. So we are having some of you from UK. We are having from Romania. We are having from Kenya. And if you are tuning in from other parts of the world outside Kenya, please let us know. This is now 1 minute, and we need to keep the time. We told the man that we will be on by this time, so we need to keep it good. So, ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to share. Don't forget to share. It's my privilege and honor, such an honor and privilege, to welcome to this show a man that is actually older than my own mother. My mother will be turning 90 in January next year. So it's like I'm hosting my parents here. It's like I'm hosting my father. And I'm so happy that he could even accept to be on this our show. So please help me wherever you are to give our father tonight. You will allow me to call him billionaire father. Of course, you know his name, Dr. Manu Chandria. But we are going to call him today the father of the billionaire father, so that we can actually give him the honor. We can't just be calling his name anyhow. So please give him a round of applause from wherever you are. Give him a round of applause. 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 Daktari, karibu, karibu to our show tonight. God bless you, and so we welcome you. Over to you. Just tell us who you are. We know we all know you, but in the business world, like now, people are from Romania, UK. Let's assume that they don't know you, sir. So, who is our guest tonight? Welcome on the show.
Thank you. I'm an industrialist. I started my life as an industrialist with a very small plant. And all my life I have spent in building the industries, not only in Kenya, but in a number of countries in Africa. Then I also started doing a lot of social work. And in that also there's no end to my social work. So I'm used to both social and the business work, not only but all the association related to businesses, and to create an environment of better businesses. And and this was something which is very new to when I started working. Normally, people work for his own living, but here you start working for an organization in which you are one of the part, and then to see that how your country, your neighbors get influenced or better than what they were yesterday. So I studied. Actually, my parents were, my mother was illiterate. My father had only done 4 vernacular. He could not speak, read, or write English. And he had that willingness or a strength of character that he wanted his children to get education. And it so happened that my 2 eldest brother, one eldest and second number 2, they did not go up to more than senior Cambridge. But after that, the whole family, means we are a joint family. Right now we have 55 members. Out of the whole joint family, every boy and a girl become either a graduate, either a master's, or even some of them with PhD. So it's the interest of parents, push from the parents, of making very sure that what they lacked in their lives, they wanted to make very sure that all our children are educated. And so we have got the best of the schools. My granddaughter is here with me. She finished her in Stanford, a first degree. She worked with McKinsey in New York, and now in August she goes to Harvard. So like that, everyone has got a story to be told of a parentage who one was illiterate, another hardly 3 vernacular. So I think it's a great achievement of a of of what a man and a woman put together can do, to make very sure that they create an environment for the family in such a way that they're all not only educated, but we're all good in our businesses, wherever we are, whatever we are doing. And we are now in 35 countries. So it was not a possibility. He thought that he was just a person who came to work, to earn a living, 4,000 rupees. At that time, the currency in Kenya was Indian rupees. So he thought that if he earned 4,000, he'll go back. I'm sure that he earned the 4,000 the first year when he started, but then he decided that, no, let me continue. And so we are now in 35 countries and more than 200 industries operating throughout the world.
My goodness, my goodness. This is amazing. So many comments are coming in. People are saying what positive influence of parents on children and their legacy. 55 graduates in a family where the parents were illiterates, but they made up their mind that what we could not achieve, we must pass down to our children. And the children also cooperated and took the advantage and took maximized the opportunity to become educated. Ladies and gentlemen, you have had it. Education is key. Education is key. Education is key. I wish your children are all watching this, because I know that there are several parents who are really struggling for their children to go to school to get education, but the children don't value the sacrifices of their parents. I will advise you that after this show, make sure you sit down with your children and play this show with them. Kindly sit down with your children and let them, listen to this show. Let me get back to our guest tonight. You are in over 35 countries of the world. And when I chatted with you a few days ago, you mentioned to me that your staff across the globe is about 40,000 staff, 40,000 staff across the globe. And in Kenya alone, you have 4,000 staff in Kenya alone. Could you just tell us first, what are the principles for building a successful business or a successful career? I checked on Wikipedia, and I saw that by April last month, you worth about 2 billion US dollars. 2 billion US dollars. That's not a joke. That can feed the whole Kenya. And so I want to ask, what does it mean to build? What are the principles? If you can give us the principles that someone can use to build such business or career that has created jobs for people across the globe.
Well, the first thing is hard work, integrity, and vision to be someone. Without a vision, you'll be there where you are. But hard work it takes, and not to be afraid of hard work, to put in the hard work, because nothing is built, only the dreams. Yes, you can build everything, but besides dreams, you got to put in work. And work means no time is saying that this I can't do. I'm sorry, it's 5 o'clock. No, it cannot be done. It's a total responsibility of making very sure that we want to reach somewhere and push. Not others can pushing you. Push yourself. Make yourself believe that what you think and what you desire is possible. If you don't, if you don't feel that you can do it, then there is no way. But always challenges are always a part of life. And the minute you start, you will find thousands of challenges one after the other. And all you do is all the time work towards it, find the solution, and prove what you wanted to prove. And I think it can be done. It's not my story alone. It's a story for all the people who are on the top today in the world. They all started from nothing, from zero. But the attitude of making sure it does not happen is not just saying, oh, I'm going to loot the bank. It's nothing like that. It's putting the hard work that's necessary. And be always honest, and integrity must be a right part in your dealings of everything. You might lose out sometimes, doesn't make difference. But integrity is a strong support for your growth. And then vision. Think. Think ahead. Think 20 years ahead of you. Think what more can you do? Where you can do? How can you do it? And not to take no as an answer. If I'm in Kenya and I remember that the first time we opened up in Tanzania, we said, oh, but you know, Tanzania is a socialist country, Tanzania is this. Irrespective, you put your effort, the results will automatically will come. So there are no shortcuts to this. And many of people, yes, probably you win a lottery, and that's wonderful. But the question is that when you're working and putting the hard work, it's not you alone. It's 40,000 families which are behind what you are doing. Their lives depend on you. Their children's life depends on you. Their children's education, health, everything depends on you. So it's a huge responsibility, and accepting the responsibility of growing. Because growth is not just to grow itself, but it has its own responsibility. And those responsibilities, as you mentioned, about 40,000 people around the world, their families. We don't know individually any one of them, but they are our responsibility. And the minute you accept the responsibility, you must go and walk a mile, another mile if necessary, another mile if necessary, to make very sure that their daily bread and butter comes from what you do. So I think it's a whole philosophy of making very sure that you're not doing only for yourself, because it's not me alone, it's my family, then the people who are working with me. And slowly, when we expanded, the responsibility grew. And so I think that there are these are the three basic principles. You must have hard work, you must have um, honesty, integrity, and you must have a vision where you want to go. Yeah.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard it. I'm sure for some of you, this sounds very familiar. I've already seen some of you saying Queen Mother has been telling us integrity, 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 and hard work, and vision. The three things that you have heard tonight, I'm sure over 90% of you, it's not new to you. That is something we have said to you again and again, and hearing it now from a man that has made it, and we can all read the story in Wikipedia to know who he is. And I love what he said. He said there is no shortcut. This is something we have said again and again. There is no shortcut. There is no shortcut. If you are not somebody of integrity, you cannot go far in life. It's a matter of time. Life will catch up with you. If you don't have vision, he has said it, nobody can do it for you. Hard work, he has said, push it, push yourself, push yourself. And I love his story about Tanzania, that when they were going to Tanzania, there were oppositions, there were challenges, but they made it. So never say, I can't do this. I love this. Never say, I can't do this. Never say, I can't do this. Learn how to push yourself. Please keep the comments coming. I appreciate your comments. It's helping me to interact. Please keep it coming. Let me get back to our guest again tonight. So when I was chatting with you, you mentioned a story of how you people went to US and your eyes opened to what other human beings can do. and that challenged you. Now, tonight, you are talking to a lot of people, you are talking to the world, and I want them to be challenged by your story, the way you people were challenged when you got to the US. Can you tell us a little bit of that story, the first time your family went to US, and how it shaped your career?
Well, it all started like this, that there was a this was during the Second World War. During the Second World War, we were all sent out to India because our parents felt that in Somalia, there is a Mussolini, an Italian, had joined hands with Hitler. That's just next to us. So, for the safety, all the women and younger children were sent out to India. And when we went to India, it gave us an opportunity that there was no other alternative. But we are new, we are completely in a country which we have never been there. We were born here, but we automatically transferred over there. And what went through it does was education. And it went very straight in our head that we've no chance whatsoever in the huge population. At that time, the population was about 600 million people. That we have no chance. We are just a drop in an ocean. So to be someone, to become someone, it required a lot of effort. And so everybody decided that we are going to put the best of our efforts in making sure that what our parents had allowed us to do, let's make it happen. Now, this is another issue. Many times the opportunity is with you, but then you got to make up your mind. Do you want to make it? Or you want to say, oh, no, no, no. Oh, that's too difficult for me. Or you are going to fight face to face and say, no, I am going to do it. And you fail. And a number of times we have failed. But then failure is another step to grow because that teaches you now how best you can do. And so I think that the whole purpose is, and when we then went to India, the minute the ship landed, we were amazed to see 8-story buildings, wide avenues, trains running all over the place, to and double-decker buses. And we looked at ourselves and said, hey, but this looks just like us. They're all Indians like us. So what's wrong with us? When we come from Kenya, there are only 2 buildings with 2 stories, or maybe 3 buildings with 2 stories. There was not a building with 3 stories. So what is wrong with us? And that gave us a huge challenge that, look, nothing can be built unless you want to build it. And you want to build means a lot of commitment for doing something. And then our parents decided that we should go to United States for further education. And look at the question. Illiterate mother, 3 vernacular parents decided no, you should go further. So we went to United States. And when we woke up in New York on the first night, because the plane landed in the evening, at night, so we went straight to the hotel, we slept and woke up. And we were on the 61st floor of a hotel. I couldn't believe. I said, hey, these are human beings. The color is not like us. But they're all human beings. And look at the whole thing. When you look at it, you got to look up. And when you look down, there are people like this all over the street. And it just hit us. What's wrong with us? How come these people can do it? They're only people. They don't have four hands. They've got two hands only. They don't look very different than us. Maybe they're white in color or they're black in color. That's it. So what's wrong with us? It's us we need to change. It's not the why America is there, why we are not there, why we cannot build what America built. These challenges are so important in life. But once you look at it and say, oh, nice, very nice, forget about it. You don't ask yourself for everything that you see in the life, every lesson that you learn, you must ask yourself, hey, what am I doing? Am I better than what these people? If so, how can I be better than that? And it opens up a whole thought process
Hmm?
that without challenges, without seeing something which is greater than what you can think of, that you never thought of, if it's possible, then what's wrong with you? And that's the challenge which every one of us must give and tell us why not?
Thank you so much. I love that story. I mentioned it a bit to them in church on how just visiting America changed the game for your family. And I think the question we should ask ourselves as we go on through this show is the question is what, when you see things, the things you see, how do they provoke the thought process? He talked about thought process. It opens up thought process. Please note it down. Thank you, Margaret Kamal, for picking up that thought process. I think one of the problems we have in Africa is that we don't think and don't go through the process of thinking. For example, when we go to America, we see beautiful houses, beautiful roads, beautiful environment, clean environment, a traffic light is working, systems are working, water is working. We don't sit down to think. We just get excited. And the next thing is that somebody says, I'm going. Somebody who has gone with perhaps a visitor's visa now refuses to come back. The fellow says, I will stay here. I want to work. I want to be cleaning the toilet. I want to do this. The question, the most important thing is that when you see these things, do you go through a thought process of sitting down like the lepers at the gate of Samaria who went through the thought process and they asked themselves, why sit here and die? Why sit here and die? I think we must have to get to that point where we don't even need to go too far in the Western world. Look around you. Within our environment, look around you. There are people succeeding. There are things that have been built even in this Kenya, in Africa. You look at some companies, you look at some organizations. We need to sit down and say, how did they get here? How did they get here? And I think that the day we begin to think and to ask questions that are positive, not negative, the one of how to steal, how to do corruption, how to murder people, but how to build our lives and the society, then we will have a better Africa. Let me come again to you, Sam. With all these things you have achieved and your family has achieved, and at the age where you are now, what can you tell us is the true meaning of life? What is the true meaning of life?
Well, life is, you know, you're born and you know that you're going to die. But in between, there is a span of years that you are there. Now you got a choice. Are you going to do something? Are you want to do something different? Or you're going to live as others live? It's very easy. 95% of the people in the world just select easy route. But the minute you say no, I want to become somebody. I want to try. I want to find solutions. Then you grow with your problems, with your issues that you wanted to do something. And that creates a huge changeover, not in you alone, because the minute you start thinking of that direction, the people who work with you, the people who are nearby you, and then ultimately the people start noticing you. And some of them will say, hey, if he can do it, why I can't do it? It's, you can see a person's progress by critically, by appreciating it. Or you can say, oh my God, no, it's okay, it's just a face, a facade. But when you say, yay, if he has done it, why can't I do it? What would it take for me to do it? And I think that in this lifetime, there is always every day is challenges. And the minute you start contributing to the society, first to start with you, your family, your friends, society that you live in, and society at large, at that time, you know that who you are and why you are made up like that, and responsibility that you carry in your mind and your existence has got some definitions. And you start finding yourself. Why should I do this? Why shouldn't I do this? And then it becomes not my own problem. It's not my own growth. It's the growth around me, the growth of the people around me, growth of the country that I live in. That means the the vastness of our mind is so great, but you got to accept the basic principle that yes, you can do it, and it's not difficult. Everybody who has grown has a story to tell. It's not grown overnight. Has a story to tell, and those stories must be repeated over and over and over again, so that our children start thinking that nothing is on the plate. You got to build it. Nothing is on the plate. Mr. Manu Chandaria started just like me. If he had been there, why can't I be? That first push to yourself, I want to be somebody, then you'll fail. Don't worry. You'll fail again. Don't worry. But if you don't think, you're always going to remain there. You're never going to come up anywhere.
Thank you so much. You have heard it. What is the true meaning of life? You must begin to contribute to the society, first to yourself, then to your family. You see the process to yourself, to your family, and to the society, and to the society. Those of you that were in QEG this month, you heard me said if you need a global platform, you must be a solution provider. You must be a solution provider. That is what he's saying. Provide solution to problems in the society. That is part of the true meaning of life. Those of you that come for QEG, you should thank your God forever. And if any of you in QEG fails, God will beat you thoroughly, because the kind of wisdom I give you in QEG, these are the things that when you go to seminars, you pay thousands of dollars to acquire it, but you come freely. And maybe because it's free that some of us don't take it serious. Everything you are hearing tonight, I don't think there is any you will say you have not had in QEG. Be a solution provider, and that is the true meaning of life. So let me get back to our guest. In which ways does your foundation provide solution to the society? You have a foundation. In which ways do you people give back to the society?
It's very interesting. When we were just very small, we went to our parents and asked him, Papa, how about starting a Chandaria Foundation? And he looked at us. Is it something wrong with you? And I said, what's wrong? He said, you lived too long in the United States. I said, I've lived 2.5 years in the United States. What do you say that I've lived too long in the United States? He said, but we are not Rockefeller. We're not Vanderbilt. I said, Rockefellers were not born what they are today. They built themselves to something. So he said, all right, let's think about it. Not now. But we kept on pushing. After 4 or 5 years, we created a Chandaria Foundation. And all my argument was very simple. While we are working in a society, while we are earning our living, while we are making sure that the people who work for us are also looked after from there, we have a responsibility to the society. So, how many of us think about it? Anything that's for me, yes, but for others, no. So, that particular idea, my parents just could not believe that we are thinking about Chandaria Foundation to do something for the society. And so he said, oh, go to work, get to work now. Come on, let's see how it works out. And the first time when we agreed to put it, first item was one scholarship to a student. And that to choose a student from 20, 30 students, to read their papers, to understand him, to continuously follow every 3 months, every term after term, how is he doing? That gave the basis of serving a society with real feeling to serve. And giving is one thing, but serving is another thing. But if serving and giving gets together, then you have a wonderful time. And because of that, the Chandaria Foundation has got a great name in this country. Not that we just throw money out. But you can go to Nairobi Hospital, there's a Chandaria Accident Emergency Center. You go to Gertrude Hospital, there's a Chandaria Medical Center. You go to Moi Referral Hospital, there's a Chandaria Cancer Center. You go to USIU, United States International University, the Chandaria School of Business. You go to Kenyatta University, there's a Chandaria Innovation Center. You go to Nairobi University, there's a Chandaria Performing Center with 500-seat theater. Also, everything that we do is for the people and making very sure that we become an example, not only for ourselves, not for our own egos, but we become an example in the society. Because of us, many other people followed us. But we had nothing, we had zero. But once we started that one scholarship, today we are 130 scholarships, we have 40 children in the university, and everything works. The point is who wants to do it? Because as long as it goes here, everybody wants it. But the minute you pick it up and want to give to somebody else, it's very difficult. Hand always like this. It's not like this. So it's a change of attitude. And only it comes once you start feeling and seeing the pain in the society. When you see the pain in the society, that's what makes you believe that you have a responsibility to the society. Because that's the same society that you earn a living. If you don't care about the society, then the society one day will not care about you.
Wow. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I think God brought Dr. Manu to us tonight to affirm the sermon that you had at QEG last week, the other Saturday. I told you that the way up is service, service, serving, selfless service. I say there is no shortcut to it. It is service. I want to tell you that one of the people I shared their stories, I shared the story in our women meeting in the QEG. Will be there live with us in June. He will be resuming this work of being the director of this organization I mentioned in Africa on the 1st of June. Our June meeting is on the 4th. So I've invited him to come to QEG so that you see him live. He will share his own story. He will share his own story of how service brought into the continental world platform, continental platform. He will be with us in our QEG on the 4th to give you his own story, because I told him that when I talked about him, I put a question mark. I didn't want to call his name. So I say Pastor question mark, because I knew he was to resume work on 1st. Now that he'll be resuming on 1st, he'll be with us on the 4th. And from his own mouth, you will hear. But look at what our Father is saying. Service, service, service. And I want to say a few things before we ask him about 3 more questions. I want to say, he said they went to the father to say, what about starting their family foundation? You see how they are thinking. Children are thinking of how to give the society. Please, I want to make an appeal here in case there is anybody that can help us. Several years ago, I suggested to our family, we have lived a life of selfless service. We have given so much to the society, especially to Kenyan society. And I suggested to our family that we need to now have our Obasi-Ike's Foundation so that we can do more in a systematic way. Because I told our family, I don't believe in handout. I say, I am one individual, I don't believe in handout. I believe in objectively helping somebody to become somebody in life. Because some of these handouts make us to put people as slaves. We keep giving them small money, and they'll be calling us and dancing for us. That is not the kind of life I want. I want a life that tomorrow we see you. You are somebody. You can put food on the table. You can take your children to school. You are not depending on me. And then you can also create jobs and opportunities for other people. So we agreed as a family to start foundation. This was way before COVID. We are still struggling to register this Obasi-Ike's Foundation because of somebody somewhere may have been there. We are 2 of us that filed for this. The fellow that I filed together with already received our foundation registered. Our own has been hanging because somebody is not allowing things to move. Kindly, if you can help us. This is part of the things we want to destroy in this country. Issue of corruption. If you know somebody who can help us to push it, because this is for the good of Kenyans. This is for the good of our nation and other places. When we are able to have systematic help that we can be able to measure and we can be able to say this is it. We need to have this Obasi-Ike's Foundation. If there is a way you can help, send me email, send me text, and push that foundation to be registered. That's one aspect. Number 2, our father said they started with paying small school fees for somebody. You don't need to begin big. You don't need to pay $1 million. It starts with little. And from that little now, they have education. They have foundation that offers scholarships to many children for health and other ones. You can be sure that our own family will have sponsored people to school. I'm not talking about even church. I'm talking about us. You know, single-handedly, daddy raised somebody that the family, nobody has gone to school in that family. Today, that guy is working, is a graduate, and I helped him also to get a job. We are now, he's traveling to Europe, to other places. This is the kind of life we want to put together. when we put bright children in the foundation of the Obasi-Ike's foundation, and we are able to measure it, we are able to help in a better systematic way. I don't like handouts, and handouts must stop in Africa. So you have heard it, giving and serving. Two of them work together. You can't serve if you don't give truly. You can't give if you do not serve. So the two work together, giving and serving. All right. Before I go to our father to ask him 3 more questions, please listen to the important announcement on our lineup. Our Queen Esther's Generation 2022 Summit will be coming up from June 30th to 3rd of July. From June 30th to 3rd of July, our Queen Esther's Generation Summit. We will have economic empowerment. We will have successful business people who will come to speak to us, just like Dr. Manu is talking to us on how to walk through life, how to access capital, how to access funding for our businesses. That will be taking place on June 30th. The same June 30th, we will be partnering with Aga Khan Hospital. Aga Khan will station their mobile clinic in our conference, in our summit, to give free medical checkup. Even if we are 3,000, they have enough equipment to station it in our meeting to give free medical checkup. Please, their consultants will be with us. Make sure you get everybody for annual checkup. Make sure it's a free annual checkup for you. Make sure you are there. We are not asking for a coin for that. We shall be hosting from Nigeria 2 powerful guests, Dr. Chioma Ibezim. She will be the main speaker for the meeting. You can check her up online, Dr. Chioma Ibezim. Then we will be hosting Minister Jimmy the Psalmist in worship, a terrific worship minister from Nigeria. We'll be hosting one of our friends that came sometime from the US and gave our women handbags. She brought from US over 100 handbags and gave to widows because she's a widow. She was widowed when her marriage was at the prime of it, and she has really struggled in life. But thank God that today her children, they are all doing well in the US, and she helps widows. She will be coming from the US for this meeting. That is Reverend Nkechi Onyeka. So, and there will be some other people, including myself, that will be speaking in this meeting. So make sure you block from 30th of June all the way to 3rd of July. The economic section will be paid for. When the group that is, of course, organizing it is ready, they will tell you, but they also want some partners to assist so that they can charge you something that is reasonable. They will speak to you about that. In this our meeting, Dr. Chomi Bezin will be having a section for the singles and the married, and those trusting God for the fruit of the womb. So we will be having so many things under one umbrella. So please block it, take leave, because the meeting will be from morning till night. From morning till night, it's not evening meeting only. We'll be starting in the morning, close in the night, every day till 30th of June to 3rd of July. But entry is absolutely free, except for the economic empowerment on Thursday, which that group will speak to you at the right time. Please get ready for that. And of course, bring to us many who don't believe in this, our God. We would like to minister to them. Then tomorrow, don't forget our revival hour, 8 p.m., praying for revival, for God to change our hearts and give us the godly hearts that fear the Lord. So tomorrow, please join me 8 p.m. as we pray that prayer. Don't forget, take the bull by the horns, 8 hours prayer, 8 hours marathon prayer on Saturday in our church. For those of you who don't know where all these meetings will be taking place, they'll be taking place at the Redeemed Christian Church of God Solution Center. It used to be in Bagati Way, but now Railo Dingas Road, on just opposite Armed Forces Memorial Hospital. So please make sure you are there on Saturday for 8 hours prayer. Be there on Wednesday if you care for us to continue with our Bible exposition, 5 p.m. I will get back to this before we close. But let me just appreciate my cousin who we actually hosted on this show last year or so. She is on this show and she has made a comment, and I want to acknowledge her because God is also using her seriously in Nigeria. She has a foundation where she's also doing a great work, and she's a widow. We hosted her on this show. I'm trying to get her comment. That is Dr. EJ Jidemma. I want to appreciate her. That's my cousin, and she's on this show. Dr. EJ Jidemma, God bless you so much, and we celebrate what you are doing also. You are doing a great job. Once I get your comment, I will read it because I saw it, but there are so many comments. I'm trying to scroll to get your own. Once I get it, I promise I will scroll and get it, and then I will read it to appreciate you for being part of what we are doing here tonight. Let me get back to our guest. I want to ask, you have been married for over 60 years. I think you have been married for 68 years or 63 years, if I got the information right. Please tell us some of the tips that have kept your marriage for such a long, long time. What is it in this time when people, after 1 year, they part, 2 years, they part, and we are talking about somebody in a marriage of 60 something years? Do you have
Well,
something to
it's
tell us?
67 years.
67 years. Please
Yeah,
tell us
well,
what
the
we
point
hear.
is 67 years. That's right. That's right. Uh, in a successful marriage, the first important part is respect for each other. If you do not respect each other, then its marriage will continue, but it will not have the joy. As long as you respect your partner and your partner respect you, there is a limit of you cannot break them. And this is what is basically necessary in every partnership. Second thing, that you got to be honest to your partner. You can't be just dishonest and make them hope that everything is going to be well. So the honest is something. Find common interests
Hmm.
because life is a long way to go. You got to find some interest together, which both of you will enjoy. Appreciate each other's strengths, not worry about the weaknesses. Everybody has got weaknesses, but appreciate the strength so that the strength gets the strength of really winning over the weaknesses. So these are the simple rules in life. Enjoy each other, give time each other, listen, not only talk, listen too. Because if you don't listen, then you don't know what the other person wants and says. So I think it's a compromise of life. And
Hmm.
always believe that you are equal partners. You're not above anybody. And she is not above you. And I'm not above her. We're equal partners in making a successful life, successful family. We want our children to be successful. So goals must be set in a manner that both of us participate jointly, not single. I will take the decision. No, you don't take the decision. We'll discuss and take the decision together. And that has survived. And for a long years, we're okay.
Hey, 67 years. Where else do you go looking for help? Who else is in a better position to give you advice tonight, apart from Dr. Manu? Look at respect, mutual respect, honesty, transparency, common interest. Common interest, honesty, respect. And I love what he said. Marriage is about compromise of life. Compromise of life, because you are not perfect, your partner is not perfect. So you strengthen the strength. You make sure that the strength of your partner gets stronger as you forgive the weakness. Then life goes on. I want to live 67 years of marriage, and if possible, go beyond that. So please make sure you you pick up the wisdom. I have found my cousin's comment. Dr. Ije Jidema says, great conversation. I congratulate Dr. Esther Obasi-Ike for this new trust that has practical elements. This is leadership. Fireside chats grounded on Christian principles. Thanks, Dr. Manu Chandra for sharing these great insights and real nuggets. Thank you so much, Dr. Ije Jidema. God bless you. Now, let me ask you, you are 93 years old. That's what I saw in Wikipedia. You are 93 years old. Have you contributed? I know it is God that keeps us alive. Our times and our life are in the hands of God. But I think, again, there may be a lifestyle that helps us to live longer. Can you give us some wise nuggets that could help us to live a long life if God allows?
You know, many times people feel that life is what you eat. Life is what you think also. Life is also what you do. And I think that the balance between all these three is how to think, how to enjoy your life. And this balance is very difficult to find. People always fail in one of them. But as long as two is strong, 1 week will go with it. But if one is only strong and two are weak, then it's very difficult. So, to me, always in a life, the way you live, let it be an example rather than uh, rather than it has to be followed by. You should be following some life, and once you follow that life, the ideals of the people whom you think has successfully lived their life, it's always necessary to have some beams around you. But always make very sure that you are not the only one to make a decision. People around you are equally as important as
Wow, this internet, you better not break from his side, because I still have one powerful question I want to ask him before we ask for his parting shot. So please, this internet must get back. Apollonia, help us to reach him. Let him know that the internet has frozen. While we are waiting for him, I want you to know the speaker we shall be hosting on Sunday. My goodness. Our guest this coming Sunday will be Benson Muthendi, the CEO, Youth Enterprise Development Fund in Kenya. Are you hearing me? The CEO for the Youth Enterprise Development Fund in Kenya. That's Mr. Benson Muthendi. That's a serious guest on our show next Sunday. You don't want to miss it. We want to ask him questions about some of the fundings, the youth, especially the Youth Enterprise Development Fund. What have they done with the fund? How can it be assessed? And all those kind of stuff. So make sure you are here with me on Sunday as we take to task our guest, Mr. Benson Muthendi, the CEO, Youth Enterprise Development Fund guy, on Sunday. Please, Apollonia, tell Dr. Manu to log back, to log him back. We want to wrap up. We have 6 more minutes to wrap up. And I have reserved something very powerful to ask him. I want to ask him some questions before he logs out. Please tell him to come back. Tell him to come back. That internet, of course, I don't know whether he thought we had finished or the internet. So Apollonia, if you are hearing me, tell him we have not finished. And I want to ask him one more question. Okay, he said he's logging back. So, ladies and gentlemen, Stay tuned. He's logging back. I want to ask him one question, and that question is this. You know, they do family business and they are all successful in their family business. How come some of us cannot even do business in our families? You do with your husband, it is fight, fight every day. Then you bring in children, it is quarrel. This one kills that one, this one kills that one. And we are wondering, this is supposed to be how family can grow. And you know, they take after the pattern of the Jewish culture. The Jews do family business, and that is the will of God concerning us, to bring the family together. The wealth is created in the family. There is trust in the family. There is mutual respect and common interest in the family. Then the family grows the business and becomes a family that is a blessing to the society. But today, it is so difficult to build a family business, especially among Africans. I don't know why. So I want to ask him the question on how they manage in their family without this one putting witchcraft, without this one putting, you know, in African family today, you are building business, then somebody put a snake and ties it and put in the window for the same sibling. So we want to ask him that question, and we will love to hear what he has to say. He's back. We are glad to have you back. We are glad to have you back. We have just few minutes to release you. We know it's late for you, but we have just 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. We will
Done.
release.
Done.
Yeah, yes, we'll be done in 5 minutes, kindly. So the question I want to ask you is this: how do you handle family business dynamics? It's so difficult for family to do business. Sometimes we see even husband and wife, the problem they have most times is money. Husband and wife fight over money. Then when you bring in the children, problem. But how do you people build this kind of family business that your name is a legend and a legacy?
Well, what we have done is just to build around us an organization, number one. And number two, the major part of doing business, earning money, is to serve the society. The minute you put that attitude to the people, that we are not here for us alone. When I talk to them, I said, hey, 40,000 families depend on us. Your I didn't have that, or you didn't have that. Is that important? So I think that the whole dynamic should be that build a picture, paint a picture of the family in such a way that we have a responsibility. We are not only doing it for ourselves, to enjoy ourselves. Yes, we have enough to live, but we are also doing a great work of supporting those families, children, and their families. On top of it, we are doing a lot of social work. We don't know who goes to the hospital that we built or we part of it. We don't know the name, but they all know who did it. And the question is, how do you come out and say, I am to serve, not to order, not to really occupy a position, saying that let people know, hey, that's Manu Chandaria. I don't say that, oh, I am Manu Chandaria. I've done this, I've done that. No. Let the work speak. And to make work speak means you got to show the ability. And when you show the ability, the children look at it. They're not dumb. They're as good as we are. But they must realize that it was not built in one day. And how the people put their effort. And so they follow them. It's what we make a road, we show them the way, and we hope that some of them will become even better than us in terms of serving. Many of them are better in businesses, but in the terms of serving, because that's our ultimate goal. And to keep the family going and to keep the family's happiness is to give them a much bigger role, that you're not committed to yourself alone. We're not talking about our own family alone. We're not talking about only the people who work for us. We're talking society at large. And once they start grasping the beauty of greatness, the beauty of serving, then there's no need of explaining anymore. Because each one of them knows that the aim is this. And to carry out the aim is always hold their hands with you, take them around with you, show them what they're doing. And so they feel fulfilled that, oh, I have a responsibility now. I have to do something. I cannot let it go. Is making responsible people responsible for serving. And that does not come only for one-to-one talk. They must see the living examples. Once they see the living examples of what we have been able to build to serve the community, they know that they have now nothing else but to follow.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chandaria. We are so happy. We are so happy for the wisdom you've given us tonight, and we are so grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, you have had it all. There is no shortcut. Service, selfless service. Let's teach our children how to give service to the society. They can begin from home. They can begin to help us do some little things at home. This mentality of leaving our children without service at home because we have house helps, we have everybody, gardeners, drivers, and so our children can't even wash cars, our children cannot even serve at home, is a horrible future that we are giving our children. It doesn't matter how many house helps we have, there must be a place of service for our children. And with that, they go to their schools. They should serve in the schools. They should take responsibilities in the school. And then in our family businesses, they must be brought into it to be sure that they understand what we are doing. I remember in one of our devotions, we asked our children, did you see what happened in South Sudan when Daddy went there? They said, yes, that they followed, that they watched. We say, why we want you to keep watching is to understand the legacy and the life that your family is living. All we want you to do, our children, is to serve your society. So on this note, we are going to be bringing the show to a close, and I want us to give a round of applause to Dr. Manu tonight. Give him the one we call prophetic in church, that what God is doing in his life, God can even do much more in our own lives. He is 93 years. God can give you that age. And look at 93, articulation, strength, ability to speak. I want you to give him the kind of clap offering that is a seed that you are sowing into his life, claiming that same longevity. Those of us who are married, claim the 67 years of marriage. God is able. And those getting into business and career building, claim it by your clap offering. Can we give him an honorable, this one is honorable clap offering tonight, for at 93 sitting down with us for more than an hour in a show. I know how I'm sweating here with the heat. So give him a round of applause. Give him a round of applause. And give him a round of applause. And sir, on behalf of all our viewers tonight, I want to wish you well. I want to say thank you for honoring our invitation. I want to say thank you, and please pass our regard to your wife, your children, your grandchildren, and thank you for what you are doing for the society. I pray that the Almighty God will visit you and he will reward you tremendously. Thank you, and thank you so much. God
bless you.
Thank you,
Dr. Esther. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Good night.